Sorry about that. I was a few seconds behind because I always forget to turn on this little light up here. Oh, baby. How are y'all doing today? So yeah, this will be a relatively short stream. Just got back from a hot date with my lovely lady. But, you know, it's time to talk about something else that's lovely. Time to talk about some Chapter 1 patch notes. It's going to be a fun time. Certainly more fun than waiting for it was, but we're going to get right into it. So, Chapter 1, Spellstorm release notes. So I was there for the actual premiere with on twitch.tv. They have a nice little channel over there. And there's some extra stuff that they mentioned. I don't think that will be covered in the official release notes. They actually have this preview here for their image. I thought, at first glance, I thought it was going to be of Twitch, but it's not. So anyway, this goes live tomorrow while I'm at work. Sadly enough, what's up, Thug? Sadly enough, I'm going to be straight at work, literally an hour in, 9 a.m. Central Standard or 10 a.m. Eastern. So y'all will have a great opportunity to play before I will, but I will be casting the action for scrims tomorrow night at around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard for Element. So that'll probably be my first taste of this new patch. So y'all make your way over there. But yeah. We can go ahead and start talking about this patch notes, and this will be in a video format. So hope y'all understand, and we'll get into my initial impressions on this and try to take a little bit of a deep dive with my humongous 200 IQ brain. So chapter system. With chapter 1, they're introducing 72 new story and honor quests. So think about all of those quests that came in. All those quests that came in for the different elemental interactions with the gauntlets. You had one for fire, one for toxic, so on. I don't know if this will be spaced out among different weeks. I'm assuming that it will be, but in total you're going to get 72 between story and honor quests, and then 50 levels of rewards, twice as much as you got from Clash. And they did mention that Clash did speed up this sort of process, so they probably have put in some measures to make the quest either longer or to make Clash scale in terms of experience gain with it. So you'll meet NPCs outside the match, like Quincy that we saw in the middle of it. And also, over the course of the chapter, the world itself will update and a few new gameplay elements as the story unfolds. So this means that the map's going to be changing. There'll be new elements to delve with. Hopefully we'll get something other than just mana vaults, so that's going to be cool. And also those rifts that are going to be coming out, the portals that you can go to outside the storm and then spawn up and then come back down. That'll be part of it as well. And game-altering stuff like that will be pretty cool. So for this, story quest will be completely free. Of course, we know this. If you watch the patch notes, it's pretty obvious. And it's only going to be 1,000 gold to get a 25% bonus to the chapter reputation. And this is really all you need to get all the quests that you can possibly get. So the story quests are going to be what comes for free, and then the honor quests are going to be what's extra. And for 1,000 gold, it's $10. It's pretty easy. 25% extra reputation gain. It's going to be nice. Of course, there's also the Spellslinger bundle, which will be 2,500 gold, I believe, or something close to it. $25, I think. It actually has a price point on it. It's $24.99, and it comes with that 50% bonus, a bag of gold, and steely-eyed Spellslinger outfit, which is that McCree skin, and I'm going to be rocking that literally all the time. And then there's the Warlock bundle. If you want to fork over $100, literally $99.99 for a Mountain of Gold, Steely-Eyed Spellslinger, which is McCree, and the Sinister Warlock. I mean, if you want to spend that much, man, that's up to you. All right. Now, a big note that was brought up by one of our fellow casters is that Manic Class was saying that if you get that Mountain of Gold for $100, basically you have all the chapters that'll come out for like the next 4 years or so. So if you want to go the long route and you're going to be playing Spellbreak for years and years, go for it. But your biggest bang for your buck as far as like what skins you get and the amount of gold that you get, and the 50% reputation. Obviously, going to be the Spellslinger bundle, probably the biggest bang for your buck, unless you just really, really want that Sinister Warlock outfit. Anyway, daily quests are going to be reworked. They're now going to give you in-game gold instead of just experience, and there will be tiered quests. So harder ones will give you 20, and the easier ones will give you 5, and there's a 10 in between as well. There are going to be another request that are going to be added, changed, and removed as well. So like the ones where it's like probably loot 5 chests as a conduit for 200 XP, probably not going to have that one. I would hope not, because I mean, it's easy as hell, and you don't even have to play a full game to do it. Spellbreak course going to be live on Steam, and there's going to be game links and all that stuff. Just make sure that if you're going to be playing on Steam, like me, that you link your existing Spellbreak account with the email that you're using in-game currently. You can only do it once, and if you screw it up, then too bad, so sad, contact support. The UI queue timer is now going to count up instead of down. Think of this like League of Legends, how it'll say how long you've been in the queue, pretty much, so that you won't have that countdown. It's going to be coming. Going to be a little bit, it might be a little bit of an issue for trying to queue snipe or something like that for Element Crew, but we'll work around that as we always do. Of course, they added the main menu notification for party invite, new friend via accepted request, friend request. It's all fine and dandy. Quests are now visible in game. That's a big plus one. I personally found it really, really annoying that I couldn't like quest hunt effectively, because I had to literally finish the match, go look, and take down notes of like what I was trying to do in that particular game. But thankfully, you can just press tab and there's all your quests. They can now disable controller vibration entirely in the settings menu, and match experience shows up even if you leave early during a match if you've already been exiled. So that's cool. This new area, Dead Moss, is going to be coming with a new Castle Bogmore, Dead Moss Canals, Slums, Dread Curtain, and more. It's going to be really working with the verticality of Spellbreak from what they were saying. They want a lot more verticality. They want to make sure that they're making as great use of the unique movement that they have as possible. It's going to be a great time. You've seen the screenshots of it. I can pull it up if y'all really want. But it's going to be those really, really tall towers with a bunch of broken bridges and stairs and all that sort of thing. Also updating Wayfarer's Crossing and adding some new ones, Cloister and Fernfall Garrison. And what I've done today, actually, I've taken a look at these notes, and I've actually taken footage of some of the changes that are going to be coming, so I can give you all a little comparison between 1.2 and 1.3. That's going to be a bit of a shorter, less narrated video, but I'll have that up for y'all as soon as I'm done with it. Hopefully, it'll be up either, I don't know, Thursday or Friday. If it's not, then I'm sorry, but I'll try to get it out as quickly as possible. It'll probably be Thursday or so. That way y'all have an easy way to break that down. For Clash, we're now ending with a Mercy roll. That's going to be 20 points up. So if you're 30 to 10, the game will end. The team with 30 exiles wins, pretty much. Score needed to win now updates based on how many people remain in the game. So before, you could have a 9v9 and the end score would be like 54, and it could drop to like a 4v5 scenario, but 54 would still be the score you needed to win, which would last in like really, really long games. Now it's going to drop as people drop. So if you have a 9v9 with 54, you go down to 4v5, it's going to be dropping down to like, I don't know, 30 something. What time this patch is going to drop? Yeah, at the very top of the notes. Oh, by the way, hi Eli, what's up? December 15th, tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be 9 a.m. Central for me. I will not be playing because I'll be at work, unfortunately. And then I'm going to have to cast right when I get back from work. So y'all will probably have plenty of more time, probably like, I don't know, 8 hours more time than I will to delve into the patch and see what's good. But speaking of what's good, we're going to be getting into our balance and gameplay. Oh yeah, and in Clash they fixed a bunch of bugs. Hooray. Let's see. In miscellaneous, unfortunately, there was a bug in Updraft after they had submitted a build, so it's currently getting a reduced boost from where it was in 1.2. So it's going to be just a little bit lower, so you're not going to be as high flying. Personally, the only way that I see this, being a problem is if you're like trying to land these frost shots, but we're going to get into some more Tempest changes that are going to kind of make this thing not really that bad of a thing. Basically, Tempest is a monster in this next patch, and for all the wrong reasons. But we'll get into that here pretty quick. Unfortunately, Updraft's not going to be as high flying, but that's not going to matter, as you'll see here. Recovery talent. This is the only talent change of the entire patch, which is the only one that really needs to happen, I guess. 35% of damage taken. It's going to be down from 50%. And while it is just a flat number change, it is the correct direction to go. With less damage taken, as opposed to lengthening the time that it takes to restore that damage. Previously, like when it first came out, it was restoring 50% in 4 seconds. That was on release. Or rather, not release. That was back when it was first introduced. Then it got nerfed to 6 seconds, 50%. It's still the best talent in the game. So now we're nerfing the damage restoration, which is 35%. That's going to be pretty good. I personally would like to see the stacks that you can get on it. Like you can take multiple sources of damage and it would just restore all of that 50%. I would like to see the stacks being reduced, but 35% down from 50 is definitely going to affect it pretty heavily. And now I knew this before coming into this, but Shadow Step is no longer gonna carry your momentum, which is fine. This is actually a buff to Toxicologist, contrary to popular belief here. It's a lot easier to land your Toxic when you know that you're just going to be sidestepping and flicking, as opposed to like worrying about flying off the edge of something and like just having to deal with the extra momentum to reposition your shot. So Shadow Step Toxicologist build, a little bit stronger, back to its former glory, I would say. Not too much stronger, but a little bit. Upgraded to the higher tier rarity of rune, now correctly lowers the cooldown of the new rune. That's cool. Reduced lateral movement while dropping from portals by 33%. I don't know if I really like this. I like the ability to like have to be able to traverse to a further area that's maybe not next to a portal. Like there's some parts of the map and some games where like there will be a whole bunch of portals just kind of spawning towards the southeast part of the map, and I really want to go to Lux Vault, but there's not really a close enough portal, so you could theoretically just drop in Gritfeld and then fly your way like way over, but that's no longer the case, at least by 33% of it. I've taken video of this with the current patch, and I'll have that comparison shown up for you guys whenever I get that comparison video made, hopefully sometime tomorrow if I have time. Anyway, prior to this change, it covered a lot of ground. Yeah, it's. I hope this gets reverted at some point. I really like the ability to go as far as I want to, but whatever. Safeguard potions now stack up to 2. I actually missed this during the initial Twitch viewing, so that's cool. Regular safeguard potions, by the way, now stack up to 2. This is actually what needed to happen. I like that change. It's not a big one, but I like it. A big buff to Thirsty, I guess. All right, so. Getting into our first class changes, let me take a sip of water because this is going to get spicy. Everybody buckle up. This is where the meta shifts, and it is a meta shift, by the way. It's a big shift. All right, got your water? Got everything good? Good. So we're about to get into it. So first things first, Frost Gauntlet itself. Flash Freeze has its cooldown reduced to 15% from 20 seconds. To 15 seconds from 20 seconds. This is huge. So you can literally just charge in, get a quick little flash freeze off to block all of your opponent's wind, lightning, and fire. And now you can do it 5 seconds faster repeatedly than you could before, which is great. 25% buff is great. All right. You can use it offensively and defensively a lot more reliably. And then the walls of flash freeze are also now significantly higher. So you have more defense with a shorter amount of time. Oh, baby. That's gonna be interesting because with the Frostborn class, you can just charge in, get that little bit of Tundra going off, that immunity to damage you can get with Flash Freeze, and then you're just protected by literally half of all the spells in the game, and you're also immune to any sort of damage with 5 seconds less cooldown. So like that's huge for defensive, but that's not even where the big power spike comes in. All right, that's good enough. Okay, Flash Freeze itself is buffed, so Frost is even better as an offhand. Now, okay, visuals reworked, that's fine. And vulnerability of the Tundra skill is fine. it's good to be able to time your shots if you're not running Tundra. So anyway, Icicle now also removes the mana cost for a fully charged Ice Lance. Oh man. So this is what's going to happen, okay? If you're not running Harmony on Frostborn, which by the way is still a very viable talent to run on Frostborn, especially if you're playing that sort of close range engagement and you have the Alacrity and you want to not get frozen and that sort of thing, that's fine. You can run that. But now you can also just literally hop in the air, get a little bit of Icicle, and fire off a fully charged focused mana Ice Lance and not lose any mana off of it. So what does this let you do? It lets you get Icicle, focus mana Ice Lance, get down, focus mana Ice Lance, just one right after the other. Okay, and if you're running, if you have Ice Prism in the final circle, so what you can do is you can actually hover with Icicle, hold it for that extra half second, get literally plus 65% at max focus mana, plus 65% extra damage on your Ice Lance, no mana cost, and then you just keep doing it. You can hop up, do it again, hop up, do it again, hop up, do it again. Easy. Icicle removing mana cost. That's going to be huge. Frostborn, in my opinion, this propels it from literally the worst class in the game to one of the best. Like, players who can hit their Ice Lances, it's going to be dangerous, all right? Y'all need to be prepared for that. That's going to be crazy. And then they have all this defensive capability with now the Flash Freeze buffs. You can just approach people and have that Tundra skill coming up. Oh my goodness. That is going to be wild. Focus mana Frostborn is going to be wild. But getting on to our other topics here. So the Lightning Gauntlet basically just had a 2 damage reduction across all rarities here. It's down by 15 to 20% across all rarities, but it's basically just 2. This is the important rarities here: Epic and Legendary. Your max damage is down by 2, and your minimum damage is down from 1 to 2. So basically, conduits have a little bit less damage, but the focus mana and potential energy build still works very, very well. So I think it'll stay in S tier just because of that. But Lightning Gauntlet offhand is going to be significantly reduced. So Tempests are feeling really good about this one. Even if it's not that much, 20% damage reduction among offhand Lightning, which isn't really run that much anyway. But now, like, even if you are against an offhand, it's not going to matter that much anyway. So, yeah, indirect buff to Tempest, and just a tiny nerf to Conduit. It's not that much, guys. It's not going to be meta shifting. Conduit is still going to be at the top. And then Stone Gauntlet. This is all things that needed to change. Okay, so everyone knows how obnoxiously high that Stone Shockwave spell is. They have now reduced the maximum height above the ground by which the shockwave does damage. So you can still have the same video effects. No need to change that. But now, like, the very tip of that crash coming in is when it touches your toe, not really going to hurt that much or at all. So that's a very, very nice change. It always helps. They say it here. It's often hard to tell if you've been hit fairly, if there was latency or other factors in play. So that's very good. It's not as jarring as you would think. And now at longer ranges, the damage reduction also ramps down to 50% damage reduction. So at up to 25 meters away, it'll have full damage. But now if you're like hitting people from like way from downtown, it'll ramp down to 50% damage reduction. This is kind of what we were talking about early on with near the release with Stone, how it was on launch. That we wanted that damage ramp down, and it finally took them 3 patches to listen. So, I'll take the W, even if it was late. It's never meant to be a poke tool, but it was often used as one, yes, and yeah, it was good. Fixed an issue where shockwave traveling up or down slopes would sometimes hit players too high above the ground. This is just an effect of pathing. This would happen a lot in Gritfeld, where you'd be like 40 feet away from the edge of a slope, and the shockwave would still hit you like outwardly from the vertical slope, and it was really, really obnoxious. Obviously, it's not literally 40 feet, but you get my point. So, yeah, Stone Shapers, a little bit nerfed. I now think that Stone Shaper is going to be the weakest class overall. but it's still very, very strong in the right hands, because if you can get close, and personal, it's still going to be chunking you for a lot of damage. And players like Megaverse, players like the Darkbreakers and those type of people, I'm not sure if this is going to really affect them too much, since they like to play close anyway. Maybe Megaverse more than Darkbreakers, but Stone Shaper is still in a really, really good place even after this. All right, so Pyromancer, another big one. This one, Pyromancer 1.2 was one of the best classes to run, period. It is getting slightly nerfed, but also slightly buffed, and I'll tell you why. So first things first, the damage fall off from Combust area of effect is lower, and it's not much lower by much. So it still has Ignite attached to Combust, which is something that I've neglected to point out during the breakdown of the IGN trailer. But basically what this does, I tested this out based on the footage that we had from the IGN trailer and what we have currently in 1.2. So right now what we have at maximum range with the blue rarity, that's rare rarity, the very, very edge of Combust will deal 10 damage. And in the test footage that they had, the very, very edge of Combust would deal 8 damage. So that might just be a 20% reduction or a 20% damage fall off, that sort of thing. So Combust is still the same size, but now the damage fall off is going to be a lot less obnoxious, I guess. You can still aim at the floor and get a lot of damage, but now it's going to be a little bit less so. But now, Conflagration going to spit out 6 smaller fireballs instead of 4. I know what you're thinking. Conflagration is actually a nerf to Pyromancer, because all those tiny fireballs, just like you can practice in the practice tool right now before the patch goes up, each of your fireballs will actually knock into the smaller fireballs, and it'll block your shot and also potentially run into you with your Combust, and so that kind of makes you blow yourself up. But now, Conflagration, first of all, only ignites players instead of damaging them directly. So if you get hit by a conflag, you're just getting ticked twice for 4 damage. And also, the Conflagration fireballs will no longer block other projectiles. So you can no longer practice your Conflagration fireballs. This is no longer the case. You can no longer do this, okay? As of 1.3, you can no longer practice Conflagration fireballs. So it will go straight to that fireball, and you also won't blow yourself up in close range engagements with Conflagration. So great buff to Pyromancer. It's still as strong as ever, and for players who are playing Pyromancer correctly, the increased damage fall off from Combust AoE doesn't even matter. So Pyromancer actually kind of buffed this patch. It was a big dub for Pyromancer. Actually, it's not a big one. It's a small, very, very small buff, but a buff nonetheless. Probably top of A tier, I would think, as of right now. I'll have a predictive meta snapshot coming out as well, hopefully before I leave to go on my 10-day vacation where I will not be posting any content. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully I can fit enough in given my work schedule. Tempest and the Wind Gauntlet. This is the biggest change that will shock the meta. You thought Frostborn was big? No, this is going to be bigger. And man, what they did to Squall was some of the most busted things that I've ever seen. This used to be the case back in pre-alpha, which if you saw the thumbnail of this stream, I am a pre-alpha player. I was there when this was the thing, okay? And it is now back. So you guys get to revel in the Tempest meta. And, you know, I don't say that lightly. Tempest, as of right now, I posted a picture on Twitter, and I rated it wrong, unfortunately. Tempest might actually be the top of A tier, if not S. And I'm serious. It might very well be S. And the reason for that is because if you look at the very last little bullet point here, first of all, tornadoes don't matter. Let's not even talk about tornadoes, okay? They get damage buffs and they get increased radius on the electrified tornado shock radius, okay? Squall skill. It activates immediately once a player is in the air. Notice, okay, look, what does it take to get in the air? What does it take to get in the air? Answer this for me. I'll answer it for you. 1 press of the space bar. You don't have to wind surge and hang in there. You don't have to do anything extra. All you have to do is jump once, okay? You just jump once in the air and Squall 20% easy, okay? You can literally just bunny hop around as a Tempest and do Squall damage. And oh my goodness, this is going to be an absolute fun meta that we are going into. Oh man. Okay, so yeah, basically what you're saying, Thud11. So imagine this, okay? Ambidextrous on release was underwhelming because recovery wasn't replaced, okay? Recovery wasn't touched. It was still the strongest talent. Now, with recovery being a little lower, it opens up the door to kind of like get some wiggle room for some of these 3-cost talents. Imagine you're a Tempest. Imagine you want to do Fire Offhand. Imagine that you want to do Ambidextrous. And also imagine that you want to put Focus Mana on your build. Let's just throw out a build for you right here. Focus Mana in either Fortitude, Scavenging, and Ambidextrous, okay? Basically what you are is you're a more mobile Pyromancer with Focus Mana damage plus Squall. So let's do the math, okay? If you have 30% extra, extra damage off of 80% or more mana, which by the way isn't that hard to keep up, especially if you're just bunny hopping and not wind surging. And you have a 20% Squall buff, and it's an additive multiplier, so that's 30% plus 20% equals 50%. You're going to be doing 57 damage on your fireballs at legendary rarity, and that is insane. Do you realize what's happening here? So you don't even have to run Ambidextrous, by the way. You can run something else. You can even run Recovery if you want. You can run whatever you want, okay? But if you run Ambidextrous, you're basically just a more mobile Pyromancer, and it's crazy, dude. It's actually crazy. You don't even have to play like a Tempest to do it. You can literally just put on Tempest, you can grab a Fireball, and you can just run. You can just run and just jump before every shot. You don't even have to really do much. You can literally just jump before every shot and make sure your mana is always above that 80% marker. So obviously they saved the best for last. Tempest might very well be busted. We will have to wait and see if it actually is busted. In theory, it's busted, okay? I'm going to reserve judgment, and I'll tell you now that as of right now, in my predictive tier list, Tempest is going to be the very top of A tier, okay? It's going to be the very top of A tier. And it's going to stay there until I see something happen tomorrow when I'm casting, okay? This is huge, okay? And Tempest Talks is going to have a similar scenario. Tempest Frost is going to have a similar scenario. Like, Tempest might just be, at this point, one of the more busted classes that we'll see. Because it's a free tier 1 focus mana. Like, it really is. All you have to do is jump once you're level 3. Like, that's it. Like, man, I'm really playing with fire right here. Pun intended. But anyway, also emotes have been fixed with visual stuff. Cool. What is it? Wolf's Howl is still the weakest howl I've ever heard, but whatever. So let's, they're fixing stuff on consoles that I won't really get into now because I'm a PC player and I'm also elitist with that kind of thing. Bunch of bug fixes and, of course, a bunch of rare crashes on all platforms. That's great. They're in Discord. They'll be in the comments answering questions. Otherwise, see you in the HoloLens. So, big takeaways from this. Chapter system is great for retention. Also, the new quest system is great for retention because we're going to be earning in-game gold now on the daily quest, which is awesome. The different tiers, hopefully they are tiered correctly, and it's not just open 5 chests as a certain class. That would be nice. Steam release is going to be huge to bring players in. Hopefully, the chapter system with the battle pass. I say battle pass. It's chapter system, but it's a battle pass. Hopefully, that'll help with retention. So hopefully, we'll actually see some good things coming out. So that is cool. For UI, this is good. The biggest takeaway here, Q timer might make Element's job a little bit harder, but quests are now going to be visible in game under the tab menu, so that's always nice. Dead Moss is a new area, along with new Bogmore and that sort of thing. Sawtooth Mountain, I forgot to mention, is going to be reworked and be easier to traverse. I personally didn't see a problem with Sawtooth Mountain. But I guess someone did in the development team, so it's whatever. They're probably going to be focusing on that giant drop-off between the mountain and the actual looting area, which I've taken footage of, by the way, so you're going to get a nice comparison video like I mentioned earlier. It's going to be really nice, guys. Hope you enjoy it. And, of course, points of interest for Fernfall Garrison, Cloister, Wayfarer's Crossing. It's going to be great. And then Clash, you have your Mercy Rule. You have a few bug fixes there. If people leave, the score to win will be less. And then for miscellaneous gameplay, Recovery's nerfed. Big W. Shadow Step, momentum is gone. Big W. Actually, a nice little buff to Toxicologist. I still don't think Toxicologist. I will say this: it's one of the strongest combos in a solo setting and potentially in Clash. But if you know how to play the game and you know how to move, it's not that big an issue. Okay, a lot of players, a lot of content creators, one in particular that I have in my head, will tell you that Shadow Step Toxicologist is the most broken thing in the game. It's not. Just learn to move. Don't move in a straight line. You'll be fine. Okay. They won't be able to get big outbreak damage on you. And if they burn both of their Shadow Steps, they're basically a sitting duck. Okay. Just outplay them. Like literally. I don't know how else to say it, but it's not broken. Stop whining. Okay. So upgrading to a higher tier rarity of rune, now correctly instantly lowers cooldown. That's cool. Reduce lateral movement while dropping from portals. It feels kind of eh. But anyway, Frostborn big W. Lightning Gauntlet, that's a big L. Well, a small L. Conduit still busted, but small L. Stone Gauntlet kind of misses out here. Stone Shaper is now probably the worst class in the game. It was already in contention for it, but now Stone Gauntlet's nerfed quite a bit. So if you can get up and close to personal, it's not that big an issue. But the height is still going to be a sizable nerf. So keep that in mind. Stay close to your opponents when you use Stone. It's a little less obnoxious here. Pyromancer is actually slightly buffed. So aside from Combust, if you rely on Combust, then you need to practice your fireballs. But the Conflagration change is actually a small buff to Pyromancer. And Tempest and Wind potentially busted. So that's what I got for you guys. That's going to be your patch rundown. What do you guys think will be the meta? Go ahead and let me know down below in the comments whenever this thing gets posted. I'll try to make this, try to cut the VOD a little bit and make it nice and sizable for you guys for tomorrow at 11. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. Hopefully you appreciate opinions. Of course, if you disagree, just feel free to leave comments on tomorrow whenever the video is live. And yeah, hopefully you guys have a great night. I will catch you guys tomorrow. I'll be on Element, so make sure that you go join the Element Discord. And I'll be live on Twitch casting for them at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will see you guys there. Tempest and Fire, potentially ambidextrous. Gonna be a menace. Good night.